You know the feeling. A simple discussion gets twisted, and suddenly, you are apologizing for something you didn't do. And while every instinct tells you to fight back, to get smarter and outplay them, that is the one thing you must not do. There is a different way, a method to shut down their game completely without having to play it yourself. You feel it before you can name it. A conversation ends, and you feel smaller. A simple request gets twisted until you find yourself questioning your own memory, your own judgment. The room feels the same, but the air is heavier. It's a quiet confusion, a fog that rolls in only when one person is near. They build invisible cages around you with words. They design mazes of logic that always lead back to your supposed flaws. This person is playing a game. The rules are secret, and the goal is to make you lose. The game might be for a promotion, for control of a project, or just for the simple, dark pleasure of feeling powerful. When you finally realize you are a player in a game you never agreed to play, you are faced with a choice. What do you do? There's a name for this mindset. In psychology, it's called Machiavellianism. It's one of 3 traits known as the dark triad, alongside narcissism and psychopathy. You don't need to be an expert to understand it. It's a simple, cold way of seeing the world. To a person with this view, other people are not people. They are pawns on a board, tools to be used and then put away. Their relationships are built on what they can get, not what they can give. Their main goal is to win, and the rules of fairness or kindness do not apply. When we face this, our first instinct is to fight back. We are told to play their game, but better. Scheme harder. Think 10 steps ahead. Hide your intentions. This advice is a trap. It asks you to become the one thing you are fighting against. Trying to out-scheme a master schemer is like trying to out-swim a shark in its own water. They have been doing this their entire lives. It is second nature to them. For you, it is exhausting. Every conversation becomes a calculation. Every relationship becomes a risk. It drains your energy. It compromises your sense of self. Even if you manage to win a small battle, you will feel the cost. You will have traded a piece of your own peace of mind for a victory that feels hollow. This path leads to burnout, not to a solution. The only way to truly win is to refuse to play. The real solution is not to make better moves within their game. The solution is to make their game impossible to play. Imagine they are playing chess in a dark room. You can't see the whole board. They tell you where the pieces are. They can move their pieces anywhere they want, and you would never know. They can whisper that you are about to lose, and you have no way to check if it's true. Trying to win in this scenario is foolish. You cannot win a game where the other player controls all the information and ignores all the rules. Your goal is not to learn to play chess in the dark. Your goal is to turn on the lights. When the lights come on, everyone can see the board. Everyone can see where the pieces are. The secret moves and the whispers lose their power. The game of shadows cannot be played in a bright room. This is not a passive act. It is a strategic choice. The rest of this discussion is a practical guide for how to do this. The strategy is built on 3 strong pillars. First, you hold up a mirror to their behavior. Second, you use plain truth as a weapon. Third, you build an unbreakable web of trust. These are not just nice ideas. They are tactical tools that take away the manipulator's power. They change the very ground the game is played on. The first pillar is to expose the game, but you must do this carefully. If you run into the office and yell, "That person is a manipulator," you will not get the result you want. This direct accusation is what the manipulator expects. It allows them to play the victim. They can tell everyone you are unstable, emotional, or aggressive. You will look like the problem, and they will look calm and reasonable by comparison. You will have fallen right into their trap. The correct method is much quieter. It is the tactic of calm observation. You do not accuse. You simply hold up a mirror and reflect their actions back at them, forcing them to see and explain what they are doing. You do this with simple, clarifying questions. Let's say they try to twist your words. In a meeting, you might suggest an idea. Later, they tell a manager. Everyone agrees the project is failing because of that bad idea. An emotional response is to say, "That's a lie. I never said that." This leads to a messy argument. The strategic response is calm. You find the manipulator and ask, "I want to make sure I understand correctly. Can you tell me who specifically said the project was failing because of my idea? I would like to talk with them to understand their concerns and see how we can fix things together. Notice what this does. It forces them to be specific. Manipulators hate specifics. Their power is in vague statements like, everyone thinks, or people are saying. When you ask who specifically, they have two bad options. They can name names, which is risky for them, or they can back down. Often, they will retreat, saying it was just a misunderstanding. You have won, not by fighting, but by asking a simple question. This brings us to a critical tool: documentation. This isn't about building a secret case against someone. It's about creating clarity. After a confusing verbal conversation, send a simple follow-up email. The tone should be helpful, not hostile. You can write, "Hi John, just wanted to summarize our conversation to make sure I'm on the right track. We decided that I will handle task A, and you will handle task B. The deadline for both is Friday. Please let me know if I misunderstood anything." This simple email does powerful work. It creates a written record of what was said. It removes the fog of ambiguity that manipulators need to survive. Now, they cannot go to someone else and claim you agreed to something different. If they try, you have a calm, professional record. It is not an accusation. It is a fact. This habit, over time, makes you a very difficult target. It shows that you are organized, clear, and not easily pushed around. You are holding up a mirror, and the reflection is just the plain, simple truth. The second pillar is a form of radical transparency. A manipulator's power is fueled by secrecy. They operate in the shadows. They thrive on private conversations, on whispers in the hallway, on information that only they control. They will tell one person one thing, and another person something completely different. This allows them to create conflict between people, to isolate their targets, and to control the story. Your goal is to destroy this environment of secrecy. You do this with the weapon of plain truth. Strategic transparency does not mean you share your deepest secrets or personal feelings with everyone. It is a professional tactic. It means you make your work-related actions and communications as open and clear as possible. You move important conversations out of the shadows and into the light. For example, imagine a manipulator is pressuring you to cut a corner or do something unethical. They will always do this in private. They will never say it in front of a group. Your response is not just to refuse. Your response is to ask them to make the request in the open. You can say, "That's an interesting approach. To make sure I do this correctly and we have a record of it, could you please outline that request in an email for me?" This is a powerful move. The request to put it in writing forces them to consider how their actions would look to others. More often than not, they will drop the issue entirely. They will say it wasn't important or that you misunderstood. They will retreat because their idea cannot survive in the light. Another simple tool is the CC field in an email. When a manipulator sends you a confusing or demanding email, they expect a one-on-one battle. Instead of replying only to them, you can choose to copy your manager or another relevant team member. In your reply, you can say something like, "Thanks for the feedback. I've copied our manager just to keep them in the loop on this project's progress," to answer your question. This simple act changes the dynamic. The conversation is no longer a secret between two people. It is now a public record. The manipulator cannot twist your words later because other people can see the original exchange. This practice prevents them from isolating you. Of course, there is a risk. A clever manipulator will try to use your transparency against you. They will accuse you of not being a team player. They will say you are creating drama by copying others on emails. You must be prepared for this. Your counter-argument is to remain calm and professional. You must always tie your actions back to shared, positive goals. Your defense should be a calm statement like, "My only goal is to ensure we are all on the same page and that there is clear communication." This helps the whole team succeed. It is very difficult for them to argue against clear communication and teamwork. Your professionalism becomes a shield. By being relentlessly open and honest in your work, you take away the shadows they need to operate. You are not playing their game of secrets. You are creating a new one, where the rules are openness and accountability. It's a game they do not know how to win. The final pillar is the most powerful. It is the one thing a manipulator cannot truly replicate. This pillar is building a network of trust. A true Machiavellian is incapable of forming genuine, trust-based relationships. Their alliances are always temporary and based on what they can get from someone. They see people as objects. This is their greatest weakness. Their strategy is always divide and conquer. They work to isolate you from your colleagues, making you feel alone and helpless. The ultimate countermove is to refuse to be isolated. You build this defense by slowly and carefully weaving an unbreakable web of trust with the people around you. This starts with a critical rule. Do not lead by complaining about the manipulator. If you go to your colleagues and say, "Don't you think our boss is trying to sabotage us?" you risk sounding like a gossip or a complainer. The manipulator may have already poisoned the well, telling others that you are negative or paranoid. Going on the attack can backfire. Instead, you build trust through your actions. You become the most reliable and supportive person in the room. You share credit for successes. You offer help when others are struggling. You listen more than you talk. Your connections must be built on a foundation of shared values and mutual respect, not a shared enemy. Then, you can start to gently probe. Instead of complaining about a problem, you ask others about their experience with it. For example, rather than saying, "This new reporting system is a nightmare designed to make us fail," you can ask a colleague, "How are you finding the new reporting system?" "I'm finding some parts of it a little confusing." This open, honest question creates a safe space. It invites them to share their own struggles without feeling pressured. When they share their experience, you listen. You validate their concerns. "Yes, I found that part difficult too." Through these small, quiet conversations, you begin to realize you are not alone. Others are likely experiencing the same frustrations. As you build these individual strands of trust, a web begins to form. Your colleagues see you as a stable, honest, and helpful person. They trust their own experience with you more than they trust the manipulator's whispers about you. Eventually, the manipulator's lies lose their power because they don't match reality. A network of people who genuinely trust each other creates a healthy immune system for the group. It is an environment where the virus of manipulation cannot easily spread. This web is your fortress. It is built not with walls of stone, but with threads of authentic human connection. It is important to be realistic. This path is not easy. Following these steps requires patience, courage, and emotional control. There will be times when you feel frustrated. You might face setbacks. In some deeply toxic environments, the only winning move is to remove yourself from the game entirely and find a healthier place to be. There is no shame in that. But the strategy we have discussed is about more than just beating one person. It is about choosing how to conduct yourself with integrity, no matter the situation. It is a way to protect your own peace of mind. The true victory is not the satisfaction of watching a manipulator fail. It is not about revenge or seeing them get what they deserve. The true victory is personal. It is the quiet knowledge that you faced a difficult situation without sacrificing your own values. It is proving, first to yourself and then to others, that gains built on fear and deceit are fragile. You prove that systems built on honesty and mutual respect are far more resilient. The goal is to create a space around yourself, whether at work or in your personal life, where manipulation simply cannot thrive. It withers because the light is too bright. It fails because the ground is too solid. You win by making their game obsolete, and the prize you get is not their defeat, but your own integrity.